at a ranch far, far away. So far away it would take longer than a day. To get to a town in Mississippi or a town like Kansas City, there lived a bull. A big bull. A big bad bull. A big bad burly bull. A big bad burly bucking bull. A bucking bull. A bucking bull called Bucko. But Bucko the Bull was sad because everyone said he was bad. Everyone said he was a big, bad, burly bucking bull. It was Saturday morning at the ranch. The birds in the trees sang and danced. The birds danced with glee as they sang their songs. They sang,
"That bucking bull will soon be gone, going to a bull ride. He'll be moving down the road if he stands on rider's toes."
Hey, Bucko, you've had your last warning, you've had your last chance. If you hurt someone this time, you'll be sold off the ranch. Hey, Bucko, you'll soon be gone. Hey, Bucko, won't be coming home.
The birds singing their songs from up in the trees made Bucko so sad that he shook his head and sank to his knees.
Stop singing your songs. I'm not bad. Stop singing your songs. They're making me sad. Just because I'm a bucking bull doesn't mean that I'm bad. Bucking is a job, something I have to do. I don't like to step on bull riders. They're supposed to move. Bucking and riding are dangerous sports. They're a test of skills both bull and rider are taught. If I don't buck well, the bull riders say that I stink. Should I buck good or should I buck bad? It's something I need to rethink.
What about the bull rider they call him Jimbo? Why you say you didn't hurt him when you broke all his toes? Hey, Bucko, you're a big bad burly bucking bull.
Down came the rancher, a big man called Tom. His bull needed feeding, and then they'd be gone. They'd be gone to the bull ride. They'd be gone down the road. They'd be gone until Bucko had bucked at the rodeo. With a bucket of grain and an armful of hay, Tom was whistling a tune when he heard the birds say,
Hey, Bucko, you're a big bad burly bucket bull. Hey, Bucko, you'll be turning to cotton wool. Hey, Bucko, you'll be left at the rodeo. Hey, Bucko, don't you stand on a bull rider's toes.
Tom shook his fist as he looked up in the trees.
Stop being mean to Bucko, please. You've got your songs all wrong. Bucko's not bad, and what you've been singing is making him sad, for it's just an old cowboy saying, when a bucking bull is good, they say that he's bad.
The birds knew they were naughty, and one was quite haughty as she fluffled up her feathers and strutted around. The birds thought that Tom was fibbing, and that Tom was wrong, for Bucko's record of stepping on bull riders was very long. But they were all quiet, for Tom had told them there was to be no more singing and not one more sound. And from their perch up in the trees, the birds scowled at Bucko and Tom through the leaves. Into the feeder went the grain and the hay. Bucko would need every scrap before the end of the day. Tom said,
Eat up, Bucko. Eat every scrap. Eat it all up, Bucko. That's a good chap. Now put a smile on your face and don't be sad, for tonight is the night you need to be bad.
Tom smiled at the birds he wanted them to hear as he yelled out to Bucko,
If you buck well, you'll be Bull of the Year.
How could Bucko be bull of the year? How could Bucko be bull of the year? If good is bad, would Bucko be sad? How could Bucko be bull of the year? If good is bad, why wouldn't they say, I just break my toes, it's been a good day. How could Bucko be bull of the year?
Soon it was time for Tom and Bucko to go to the world's biggest bull riding show. And as they drove down the long, dusty track, they didn't know the birds were following the truck. And the birds sang as they flew along, because flying is a good time to sing some songs.
That bull's not good, he's just bad. Tom told us he was good because we were making him sad. Tom's thinking about selling Bucko off the ranch. If we were flying, we'd sing and dance. Tonight's the night, Tom will decide. We the birds don't want to miss this ride.
In a house far, far away. So far away it would take longer than a day. To get to a town in Indiana or get to a town somewhere in Montana lived a man, a bull riding man, a bull riding cowboy man. A bull rider is a bull riding cowboy man, a bull rider called Jimbo. But Jimbo, the bull rider, was terribly sad because the bull riding fans said his riding was bad. The fans didn't care that they were making Jimbo sad because they had so much fun saying he was bad.
You keep falling off! It's absolutely terrible to have to watch. You broke your nose and you broke your toes. It hurts you to talk and it hurts you to walk. Oh, Jimbo, we know you hurt, but that's what happens when you fall in the dirt. Hey, Jimbo, you should quit. It's on the sidelines that you should sit. You're too soft to be a cowboy. Those bulls are big and bad. They're not fluffy, cuddly toys.
It was Saturday morning at the house, and Jimbo's wife was up and about.
Get up, Jimbo. Get up and about. If you don't hit the road, they'll turn your bull out. If you're late, you'll be disqualified. You won't fall off. This time you'll ride. But, Jimbo, I don't think that I'll go with you to this rodeo.
Jimbo shook his head and let out a sigh.
I don't blame you. I don't want to ride.
And as Jimbo lay there in his bed, thoughts of his losing streak went through his head. Miles and miles passed Jimbo by, dust and whirlywinds and plenty of flies. Jimbo knew he was cutting it fine, but he'd been late before. He'd make it in time. Stop for food, stop for gas, but don't let too much time pass. Down the highway and around the bend, this drive must surely soon end. Drive, 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 straight into town, drive, 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 he's rodeo bound. Tom and Bucko made it with 4 hours to go until the start of the world's biggest bull riding show. As they jumped out of the trailer and out of the truck, they saw a big sign showing pictures of bucking bulls buck. Glittering in lights high up in the sky was a picture of a bucking bull bucking very high. A cowboy was flying off through the air, and all Bucko could do was stand and stare. For the sign it said, "Tonight we will see who the bucking bull of the year is gonna be." And under the picture was flashing a name, Bucko the Bull. He was one and the same. Well, the sign it flashed pictures of some other bulls too. Bucko thought they looked bad. They knew what to do. Bucko thought to himself as he watched those other bulls buck,
I'm a big bad bull. I'm just down on my luck. You can tell from those pictures I know how to buck.
The birds knew they had to keep out of sight because they knew they were naughty to make that long flight. If Tom saw them, he'd say,
Oh, no, 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 birds. It's back to the ranch you'll go. I didn't say you could come along. You were mean to Bucko when you were singing your songs.
So they sat outside on a rail above the arena door, where they hung upside down so they could see everything from roof to the floor. Over at the draw sheet, the bull riders were gathered round, trying to find their names. The bulls they'd be riding, the bulls they had drawn, the bulls that would test their bull riding form. Jimbo saw his name and shook his head.
I may as well have just stayed in bed. I can't ride Bucko. He's a bull I dread. Bucko jumped on my nose, and he jumped on my toes. I do not want to ride that bull called Bucko. A long time ago, Bucko was great. But now we're both losers. I guess it's fate. Pair of losers, what would be? Pair of losers is not what the crowd came to see.
Around the arena, big crowds settled in the grandstands and listened to songs from a good marching band. And people were picked out on a big screen TV and told to kiss the person next to them, whoever it might be. And from the bottom of the stands, a man was yelling,
Here, here, get your sodas. They're cold, they're on ice. Buy your hot dogs and pretzels and have a good night.
While the crowd was clapping and drinking their pops, Jimbo was getting ready, pulling up his socks. For a bull rider must twist and stretch to a song before he's ready to get on. Out behind the chutes, Jimbo was twisting and turning and ducking and diving. He was doing everything that would help his riding. And Bucko the Bull was also getting warmed up. There was no way Bucko wanted to flop. Up in the chutes, the first bulls ran. They ran in time with the beat of the marching band. And to the tune of the marching band song, the bull riders took their turns getting on. A bull ride lasts just 8 seconds long. And you know you've ridden your time if you hear a bell, whistle, or gong. A score of 100 is the best you can get, but no one's ever scored that score yet. The bulls bucked as if they were crazy. They bucked as if they were mad. The bulls bucked very well because they wanted to be bad. And the bull riders rode rather fine. They must make the whistle. They must make time. When over the PA, the announcer started to blab, and his words made Bucko and Jimbo feel rather drab.
We already know who the champions are going to be, but there's one pair left that we still have to see. Well, it's Bucko and Jimbo. Neither has won for a while, and Bucko is lacking in bucking style. Jimbo, he can't even ride a swinging gait. I'd say, ladies and gentlemen, this ride won't be great.
Jimbo and Bucko had both been sad because remember, the birds and the fans had said they were bad. But be careful when you make someone feel as bad as you can because it might not work out the way you planned. You see, something happened in the bulls and the man's hearts. It was slow, just a trickle at the very start. It was something that can make you reach goals that are very high. It's something that the cowboys call TRY. Jimbo knew he could win. He was as good as they came because winning uses more than muscles, it uses your brain. And Bucko the Bull knew he could win if he wanted. He'd buck like all fury when the bull rider nodded. But until then, he'd sit quiet in the chute, trying not to kick up dirt on Jimbo's bull riding suit. Then Jimbo gave Bucko a pat on his hump, followed by a pat on the bull's rump. And the birds hung upside down from above the arena door. Their eyes opened wide. They couldn't believe what they saw. The gate opened wide and Bucko burst out at speed. He was thankful for the grain and hay in his feed. He jumped in the air 10 feet off the ground. The crowd was silent. They didn't make a sound. And Jimbo hung on with all his might. In just 1 second, they were a sight. Second number 2 was as hard as Bucko spun round. All Jimbo could see was the real hard ground. And at 3, Bucko whirled like a big hurly-burly. He spun round so fast, Jim's straight hair went curly. After 4, Bucko did a big honky jump. And Jimbo slid forward and hit the bull's hump. The 5th second was time for a belly roll to the right, and Jimbo hung on. He held on tight. At 6, Bucko did a little kick flip, and the crowd went, whoa, because they thought Jimbo would slip. And in the 7th, Bucko spun round to put Jim in the well, but Jimbo hung on until he heard the bell. The announcer was screaming into his mic.
8 seconds, that's time! We've seen the ride of the night. That bull bucked so hard I thought he'd take flight. A 100-point ride is what we've seen, and 2 bad boys, Jimbo and Bucko, may have been. But tonight they were so very, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, they bucked and rode the way we knew they could. From the time that Bucko jumped out of the chute, Jimbo started spinning the spurs on the heels of his boots. From the honky jumps to the spinning around, there was no way Bucko could put Jimbo down. A 100-point ride it's gonna be. It's the 100-point ride that we all came to see.
Down from the grandstand ran Jimbo's wife. She threw her arms around Jimbo and said,
That was the ride of your life! I told you I wasn't coming, but I wouldn't miss this night. Oh, Jimbo, you're not bad, I know that. You're good, Jimbo. All the way from your boots to your hat.
Tom and Bucko didn't know that the birds were there because they weren't supposed to be anywhere. So Tom tried to call the ranch to let them all know that the Bull of the Year had been won by Bucko. They both got a fright when the birds flew down, flapping their wings as they were flying around. And singing a song for everyone to hear, our friend Bucko is Bull of the Year.
Bucko is back, come on everyone, let's hear a cheer. Bucko is back, he's the Bull of the Year.
Bucko is Bucking Bull of the Year, and Rancher Tom is proud of his payday, and he's taking Bucko home to stay.
Bucko is back, come on everyone, let's hear a cheer. Bucko is back, he's the Bull of the Year.